I'm Cheree Ramirez with Children's Services Council of Martin County. I'm excited to be back in studio at the Florida Podcast.Studio with Deputy Jenkins and Deputy Pope. We're here to talk about the Community Unity Vlog and to share and highlight different organizations in our community that are making an impact right here in our own backyard. So, tell me about yourselves. They are with the Martin County Sheriff's Office. Obviously, they have their badges and their deputies, but they are part of the Corrections K-9 unit. I like to call them the community K-9s because these are the ones that are in the community and here to serve our children and our families. I just want to turn it over to you now.
So my name is Deputy Jenkins. I am currently with Martin County Sheriff's Office for about 5 years now. I've been in law enforcement for 14 years. I've been a bloodhound handler with K-9 for, I did about 7.5 years at the Martin Correctional Institution State Prison.
So you're part of the bloodhound gang?
Yes, definitely part of the bloodhound gang. Been a handler with Remi now. It's been 8 years or so. And just continuing my career in law enforcement and working hard to get to my 25 years of service.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for your service. And a little bit, Deputy Pope?
I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 20 years, with 2 years prior, so I'm much closer to my 25 years. I have been with the Corrections K-9 for almost a year now, and been working with Patches since September of 2022. So,
tell me about Patches, because I love Patches. You will see some photos of Patches here coming up, and him at community events. But I'm so excited about Patches and the work that he's doing. Also Remi, but we're going to come back to that. But sorry, go ahead.
So Patches came from a program at Brevard County Sheriff's Office, Paws and Stripes. They've been doing this for a number of years. They take in rescue stray dogs, and if they're sweet and smart and receptive to training, they go into their therapy dog training program. They train the dogs for just over 3 months, and in the interim, we put in an application for a therapy dog, and what we were looking for, people flying from all over the country, and some want their dogs for prison environment, college campuses, school resource. So we wanted a dog that could be versatile and handle the prison environment, go into schools, handle an array of catastrophic events. And so they picked Patches for us. Went up there for a week and did our law enforcement investigative therapy dog course through United K-9, who was partnered with Paws and Stripes. And it's the only therapy dog course in the United States that is geared for law enforcement.
Wow, that's really neat. And I know that we have these special K-9 units surrounding Martin County, but you said it's new to Martin County, right? Just started in September?
Yeah, Patches is the first certified therapy dog for Martin County Sheriff's Office.
That's awesome. And the work that you guys are going to be doing is amazing. So we'll talk more on that a little bit later. But Deputy Jenkins, tell me more about Remi and the work that you do and the fun training that you get to partake in.
So Remi he's 1 year, 2 months now. I picked him up from North Florida, from Jefferson Correctional Institution. At the time, we were looking to get a bloodhound puppy. I reached out on social media with a group of bloodhound gang, people that that's all they do is work with bloodhounds and basically all K-9 guys. I put a little something out. They said, we're looking for a puppy. They said, we got one. He was, I think, 8 or 9 weeks at the time. They had already started working him. He was doing like quarter-mile tracks at about 15, 20-minute time delays. I said...
So what does that mean?
That means basically someone leaves the scent article, they start walking away. That's basically laying the track for training. Their scent's falling down, so the puppy, he was a puppy at the time, he's going to go off the scent article, and he's basically going to search and work for the person that he went off the scent article for. So
I know there's a difference between the different K-9 units that Martin County offers for their sheriff's department. Your Remi is mostly for people who are lost, maybe runaways, or that, but they're alive and well typically. And
So Remi's specialty is basically human scent. He's not a drug dog. He's not a bite dog. He's basically works off a human scent. So meaning missing children, missing elderly that have dementia, possible Alzheimer's, and even we get into some felony stuff with possible suspects, say, robbed a bank and took off in a vehicle and then abandoned the vehicle. And
so you were able to get the scent from the vehicle.
Right.
Okay.
So typically with us, we typically have a scent article for most of the things that we do. If it's a missing kid that left the house, we can get a scent article. If it's a missing elderly person who left the house, we can typically get a scent article. On a situation like that, like a felony situation, yes, we would utilize, he would use the car seat or last point, someone seen, last point seen, we could go off of that right there. Yeah, he entered the woods right there.
Very cool.
We could go without a scent article and be able to establish a track.
Learn something new every day.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you guys work together regularly, so it means your dogs work together regularly. We heard them earlier talking to each other, Remi and Patches, and we had them at the Kiwanis Park for the pancakes and the breakfast this last couple weeks ago, and you guys were a big hit, so thank you for joining us at that event. It's so nice to be able to educate the community on what you guys have to offer, especially with the new therapy dog and being able to make calls. So tell me a little bit more about the goals of and the areas that you want to serve with Patches.
So it being a new program, we spend the first couple months just letting him decompress because he is young. He's a rescue, so it's a bit of a guess. We think he's about a year and a half. They gave him a birthday where he'll be 2 in June. So just coming out of a shelter environment for so many months, decompressing, working under an umbrella of obedience, getting to know each other. So I'm more comfortable knowing that when I put him in a situation, because that was part of our training is knowing that whatever situation we go into, we're going to be able to work together. If he gets uncomfortable, we can work through it, and also being an advocate for my dog. If we get in a situation where it's just not right for him, to pull back and give him a minute. But his focus is really children, which I think was ours all along. He's certified to go into courtrooms. These dogs and other agencies have changed child disclosure rates for children that have been victimized. Our national and some of our local statistics were just over 30% for a child to disclose something that had happened to them to the detectives, the police, and then to go and sit on a stand. That's a scary situation. So you bring in these therapy dogs, and some of our surrounding agencies, as well as national disclosure rates, are up to over 80%.
That's amazing. That's like,
there's a lot of science behind it. It's a little bit more than just
placing people behind bars.
Yeah, exactly, and giving them what they deserve, with victimizing a child. Oh, sorry, I'm just not going to talk about that. But that's amazing that your dogs are able to make those changes and be able to help that child feel comfortable enough to have that discussion, to make that stand against their perpetrator or their abuse or whatever the circumstance might be. So that's pretty awesome that we are going to have that here in Martin County. So I was just having a conversation with one of our providers, and she had told me about a child who had lost their father and is in need of some help, when he comes back to the program and that sort of thing. And the mother called and asked if there was anything that we can do. And I thought of you guys instantly, and your ability to go and see that child and, help him cope, because he's a dog lover as well. So is that something that you guys are able to do? Can you tell me more about those community aspects and calls that you might be able to make?
Absolutely. There's such a wide scale when you have a therapy dog. I mean, especially law enforcement therapy dog, their primary goal is to bring comfort to anybody that's been in a high stress situation, especially a victim who's in a high stress situation. So you bring the dog in, you let them interact with the dog, feed the dog, pet the dog, and it bridges the gap, and also to have it from a law enforcement standpoint. And there are other studies, not really with children, but with veterans, where we had veterans that left the armed services and they have PTSD, they have issues, and they're on medication, oxycodone, different things for their PTSD. And then they did a study where they brought in therapy dogs to a different group. And those serotonin and those dopamine levels, they actually adjusted with the group of veterans that was working with therapy dogs to the levels of the veterans that were on oxycodone.
Oh, no, I definitely see the benefit, and I've seen the benefit personally with therapy dogs. So I know some people who have definitely been able to overcome and be in a better mental state because of their dog. So it's so important. And I mean, I have my dog. I love my dog. She's like my baby. And you guys get to bring your dogs home with you, right?
Yes.
So they are your babies as well, but you treat them like K-9 cops because they're cute little deputies, badges and everything. But that's amazing that you're able to bring them home and they're able to have that camaraderie as well. And you have more dogs, right?
I do. I have a couple dogs and a cat at home, all rescues. And it was, for me, having a multi-dog household, it was a little different because you talk to other handlers who have been doing it for years, and how do you separate the working dog from your personal dogs? But therapy is a little bit different because there's no risk. His job is to be included and be able to take him into a school program, be able to take him into a hospital, a senior center, a crisis situation. So having him completely involved with my existing pack, I mean, he's part of the family. He comes home, he sleeps on the bed. The cat thinks that this is her new best friend. My other two dogs are big and a little crazy, so when they play, he actually doesn't get involved. He'd rather sit back. But then when we come to work, Remi is his best friend. He adores him. He wants to play with him. And a lot of people don't understand. I mean, yes, they're working, but these dogs have so much downtime and so much family time, and they have personalities, and they're naughty. They do things they shouldn't do. And
what's the worst thing that they've done? Well, I'll ask you and you. So what's the worst thing that Remi has gotten himself into?
So when I first got him as a puppy, the vehicle I was using at the time, we didn't have a separated cage for him. And I had a very expensive pair of sunglasses, Ray-Bans, that I had left in the car. And I was gone for like 2 seconds. And I came back, and they were completely ruined.
Oh, well, so
and
they were tasty.
I just looked at them, shook my head, and just said, that is what it is.
Does that top when he ate all of your work paperwork?
Yes. Well.
Oh, the dog literally did eat your homework.
Yes. Yes, it was.
That was a big deal.
Yes, it was. That was a very true story. The same vehicle, not the same day, but the same vehicle. I had some work documents in the back of his tracking and things that we were keeping for him, and his training. And yes, he got into them. He tore them all up, and they are non-existent anymore. I had to throw them all away.
What about Patches? What's he's gotten into?
You know, he's such an old soul, even being young, and he wants to please. He really, sometimes, when I say he breaks his down stay, he'll decide to go play with Remi. He hasn't, I would say if I had to pick, and it's the only thing I can even think about, is we walked into one of our local favorite stores to say hello and do some shopping, Wagnolia's, and maybe it was my fault he didn't get his potty break, but he lifted his leg. Oh, yes. And he peed, and we had to buy something, which he knows better, and we were not in there. It wasn't funny.
He was like, I'm taking this home with me.
It was embarrassing, because he's supposed to be this little, well-behaved. So we took the squirrel home with us, or back to the SO, and Remi and Patches played with the piece of.
I was gonna say it was gross. That's funny though. Oh my gosh, dogs are the best, and that's another way that they can help, like with laughter and like the things that they do. I remember you were sharing that story with me from another county's dog in the courtroom.
Yes.
So that's. I don't know if you want to share that one or not. It's like I don't know how. It's appropriate. It's just funny, but it's.
I can't. One of our training partners in Highlands County, who's very involved in helping us continue our training, and Liz and Stella, they have been, I believe, in service about 4 years as a therapy dog team in Highlands County, and they do a lot of things. And when we talked about being versatile, family court. They were just in the courtroom, and two families and opposite sides, and no one really liked each other, and the bailiffs were in there. You didn't know how heated it was going to get. And her story goes that Stella let out this very long toot, this fart. And the whole room started laughing, and the judge had to look up, and the judge was confused because these two sides of this family were at each other, and then all of a sudden everybody's laughing because Stella's just there, and no shame. She didn't care. She just let it out.
Yeah, because she's a dog.
Yeah. Doesn't care. So you don't know when these therapy dogs are going to break the ice or break up the moment or cause someone to smile when there's maybe no other reason.
So do you guys do anything educational, like going to the schools and presenting?
We did one last week. It was Palm City Elementary, I believe, with a Cub Scout troop. Group of Cub Scouts. We basically just let them know what we're doing, what the dogs have to offer, and then we give a little speech about educating them on, if you are to get lost, the proper ways to handle it and find an adult and, do the right things and all that good stuff.
I was kind of right. Just didn't know how to get my words out.
You were definitely right on with that.
It's nice because when we go into the schools, the kids, their questions are so great. So our questions range everywhere from, how long do you wait to report someone who's missing? Deputy Jenkins is able to tell them, don't wait hours. Mm-hmm. We'd rather be suited up and on our way and get a call that your grandmother or your child's been found. Mm-hmm. And then we get questions on how to be in law enforcement. Yeah. What do we do as a cop? And then because Patches is a rescue, I get all the questions on, why did you pick a rescue, and can rescues be good dogs? So the kids just kind of open it up. A lot of my therapy dog partners do see something, say something programs, and just encouraging these kids that Patches is here, I'm here, your SROs, your teachers, law enforcement, adults. Yeah. We're here, and we'll give you the most comfortable environment that we can provide. If you have something you need to talk to us about or tell us if something has happened to you, we're here. We will sit down and make it a comfortable conversation, especially with Patches involved.
And I know that you had mentioned that you drop the deputy and you make it a little bit more personal when you're working with the kids, which is great because you're getting on their level and you're speaking to them. You're showing that you're not scary. You're showing that you care and that you're supportive. So one of the reasons why I brought you in as a community partner and wanted to be able to highlight is because of the relationship that I'm wanting to get you guys connected with our providers and making sure that they know the resources that are available for those kids who are coming after school or needing mental health services. And maybe this utilizing patches would be a benefit for them, for those kids, like at Tykes and Teens or Project Lift, and the kids at the after school programs like the one from the 10th Street Community Center that I was telling you about. There are so many different organizations that CSC funds with Martin County taxpayer dollars. Thank you again for that support, Martin County. And being able to have the education, the knowledge that these resources are here and available and open to the residents of Martin County. And I'm looking forward to being tracked by Remi.
Yes.
We're setting up a video to do that, to kind of show his drill and what he does. So you were training with him earlier today, right? Is what you said.
Yes.
You had to go and get spruced up for the camera.
Yeah, I was all, hot and sweaty, all that good stuff. Dirty.
Burrs on you.
I had bushes attached to me and pieces of branches.
And so when you're with Patches and you're with Remi in the community, how many people are surprised that they can pet your dogs?
Everyone. Yeah.
It's such a new tool that the sheriff's office has brought in because it's something they've never seen before. Mm-hmm. And they see us, and even at the high school the other day, they thought drug dogs. Mm-hmm. Or, Remi's usually drug, and they'll think Patches. I don't know what they think. They'll think drugs or bite. They come up with all kinds of different scenarios, and then they go from this little confusion, and then they get excited. And then, we had 50 high schoolers, at least, maybe more, surrounding us, ask same questions as the little kids.
Yeah.
How long have you been in law enforcement? Do these dogs live with you? Soon as I say that Patches is for mental health, for therapy, this generation, those high schoolers, they loved it. And then you add that he was a rescue. Mm-hmm. He was on the streets. He didn't have a home. He didn't have a great start. And everybody connects with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The turnout was amazing. We, especially with the high school kids, because we haven't done that age bracket a whole lot yet. So we weren't really sure exactly what route that was going to go. Were they going to be into it? Were they going to be like, oh, it's a couple, deputies here. What are they doing here? Why are they here? Kind of deal. The second, it said that, hey, you guys can come up here and pet these dogs. Mm-hmm. They stopped eating. They literally left their lunch on the table and came running over there. And we're talking 50 kids at least.
That's awesome.
Everybody was we were just like amazed that these kids actually took the time to come over, ask questions. What are these doing? Why is Patches here? Why is Remi here? What does he do? What is his specialties? How do I get to where you're at? And it was, it was an amazing turnout. I think we spent 2 hours there. Usually a lot of our demos about an hour, especially with younger kids. We try not to talk too much. Mm-hmm. It's kind of let everybody understand what we do, and it's more for the parents and the teachers and stuff. And then we, walk around and let them pet them, and they actually ask a lot of great questions. But the high schoolers, we just weren't sure what we were going to get from it, and it was an amazing turnout. We were there at 2 hours at least. And it was, we were really surprised.
Well, with the lifting of the stigma that mental health has had in the past, and like that being brought to the forefront now of it mattering, like it's always mattered, but people are actually starting to see that now, and the value in therapy and the value in counseling, because we have experienced so much trauma in the past couple years. And these children who were at home for that time and not able to socialize, and it's such a value that you guys are bringing to the community. and I know that we have some other organizations here locally that, Pause to Read. I know you're going to be doing some literacy reading as well with us. Actually, April 22nd at the Elizabeth Latte Library, we're holding a Earth Day and literacy fun, family-free fun event. Free event? What did I say? Family fun free event. There we go. That's what I meant to say. At the library from 12 to 3. And we're going to have y'all there with us. And we got you guys set up for reading. Did you want to read? Because I signed you up.
Oh, boy.
I can unsign you up. But that'll be cute. We have been talking about at CSC, like the value and getting you guys involved with the providers, like I said. And Kara, one of our program specialists, decided that we have to come up with a book called Pope and Patches for you guys. And we need to come up with something for you guys to get out there. I know you have your training cards for the dogs that are adorable. They're so cute. And just wanting to help support you guys more in the community and help raise awareness. I know it's the corrections K-9 unit. Corrections, but I call it the community K-9 unit. I just wanted to ask both you guys another personal question as to why you decided to get into law enforcement and why you decided to work with the dogs, and why you see it as a value to have your unit in Martin County. So who wants to go first?
So I got into law enforcement. I mean, I always grew up wanting to be a firefighter or a cop. I was going to go the firefighter route. Just things didn't work out. They were, college, and just things weren't working out for me with that. So I was like, you know what? Let me get a shot out at the prison. They paid for my education to go to school, get my certification. And it just ended up, once I got in, I mean, it was, we like to try to see if we can help change some of these individuals, especially being on the correction side. Out in the prison, it was definitely tough because a lot of those people are just doing life, and they're just trying to do their time, and some are doing 20, 30 years, and they're going through a lot of different things. So they have a lot of different programs out there. Mm-hmm. But when I made the transition to the jail, and being out, you see a lot of these people out in the community, and some things you say to them inside there, they remember it, and they will come to you. I've had people approach me, "Hey, Deputy Jenkins, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Everything good? Staying out? Yeah, I'm doing really good. I got a job. I'm moving forward. I just got custody of my kid," or whatever the case is. Being able to see that is amazing. That we actually are helping people that we don't realize it. And just sometimes it's just a comment, or actually speaking to someone when they ask you, hey, they just wanted to have a conversation for a minute, and you took the time to do it, and it actually helped them in the long run.
So you're planting seeds. Right. You're planting seeds, yes. and creating change, and that's beautiful, because that's definitely what's needed in this world. A lot more love, right? A lot more compassion and grace to give. Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Deputy Pope?
I was trying to go to college. It ended up not being an option for me many years ago. Some of it was my fault, some of it was not. But got into corrections, and I was slotted to work with the female inmates when I got to Martin County, and I prefer. They're just different. They have so much on the outside, whether it be kids or family. They're a lot more emotional. They want to connect. I think for me, at least, I see the drive to better themselves. Mm-hmm. So I spent about 16 years in the female housing unit, and really put the spin on counseling with them, talking with them, they came in pregnant, what are they going to do with the pregnancy, their education, their sobriety. And on the side, I also ran a children's charity for quite a few years that I had taken over from a deputy that had retired. And then I also ran a dog rescue.
Wow.
So I was having, my career and trying to do the best to make an impact there. Mm-hmm. And then I was just drawn to these at-risk kids that were going through stuff, be it lose a parent or didn't have a parent or were orphans. And then my dog rescue has always been a huge passion and heavily involved in that. So kind of was being pulled in all kinds of different directions and loved it. And then last year when we were able to bring the K-9 corrections, and I was able to have an opportunity to kind of combine every single avenue that I had a passion for and put it into one. So now it's my job. I have a rescue dog that's doing therapy work and I'm helping kids. I would have never thought 2 years ago, I would not have thought that this was possible.
That just gave me goosebumps. Like everything, like that's awesome. Like I love when that happens and that you can you're doing your passion, you're doing what you love, and you guys are both making a difference, and your whole Martin County Sheriff's Office is making a difference. And I know you guys have a huge push for mental health right now and what you're doing, and I talked with Chief about that in a previous video, and what you guys do at the schools, it's just so important. So thank you for keeping Martin County safe, keeping the families and the children at the heart of what you do. Like, that's just, there are no words for the value that is with the work that you're doing. So I just wanted to say thank you. And is there a way for anybody who's looking for your services or wants you to come and do an educational meeting, bring the dogs, and how can they get a hold of you?
The best way to get a hold of me is my personal cell phone, 772-349-3352.
You're going to be blown up. I mean, not literally, but your phone is going to blow up. Just saying.
That's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
That's good. And so they can get a hold of you through Deputy Jenkins?
Yeah, he's our team leader, so he's a good place to contact, and he can forward any requests or we can meetings to set up emails.
Awesome. So we're going to be at a few more events throughout the next couple weeks together, the next month or so. And I'm sure we'll be at more events throughout the years because I'm all about the community K-9 unit. That's what I'm saying. They're the community K-9 unit.
We like that.
Yeah. Again, I just want to say thank you to Eddie Arguelles with the Florida Podcast.Studio and letting us use his space. And thank you to the Martin County taxpayers who are letting us do our job and put children and families and leaving them at the heart of CSC. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.